Hello, welcome to Romance Books Monsters for this week, which will be Beast Behaving Badly by Shelly Laurenston. I am Kitty Boom, and this is my co-host Lollipop. How's it going today?
It's going well. It's hot out here. So we'll see how long this lasts.
I know, it was like I had shut down my air and put on the air conditioner. Now I have the fans going and the AC is back on.
It's been 70s here for the last week. We've been breaking records, but it's supposed to be cold tomorrow, so we'll see.
Book by Shelly Laurenston. We have previously reviewed a different book by Shelly Laurenston. It's kind of within the same series, but it was like a sub-series of this series. So, please feel free to go back and check out the review of that book also. That was one of the Honey Badger books. Now, with this book, they have a type of police protectors for the shifter community that are like the equivalent of the human FBI and CIA, and they're called the unit and the group. So someone has been kidnapping hybrid shifters with, that are made up of multiple breeds of shifters. And they have been making them fight in like pit bull style fights. And they've been kidnapping them and forcing them to like fight for money, and some, unfortunately, they were being tortured as they were being trained for the fight. So the heroine in the story, her name's Blaine, and her name ends up on one of these lists of people that they're supposed to kidnap so they can start, force her to train for fighting. So her friend is like the head of the unit, which, as I said before, is like the FBI of the human community. And so he put somebody to follow her. And she's like super silly. Like if you check this book out, you will definitely be laughing like throughout it. So she's like super silly and a little bit on the flaky side. And she's like all over the place. And she meets this guy, like her love interest in the book is Bo Novikov, and he is a super anal OCD hockey player that has to have everything at a certain time and done in a certain way and organized in a specific way. And here you have this super anal person with this mess. It's hilarious.
Right, because she'll buy like a broken a watch because it's pretty. And he's like, but you're always late. So
never on time.
Never
her
on time.
Prada watch,
Her
which was a Prada knockoff. Or the Cha-Cha Chanel.
Yeah, so one of the things that definitely, Blaine is an awesome character. She is a plumber. So if you already got a female plumber, so, already breaking barriers.
Super helpful.
Super helpful. She's also a roller derby girl. So they love their little roller derby with their short shorts and, elbowing and fighting and all that jazz. But what everyone else didn't know is she's a trained fighter. Her father made sure that she was a trained fighter. They put this protection, when Richard put this protection deal on her, he never told her what was happening. He just put, protection on her, which was not the smartest thing to do for someone who not only can take care of themselves, but also is a very independent person.
And unpredictable.
And very unpredictable. So she and Bo end up being kidnapped. Well, she and Bo end up being attacked, and she was kidnapped. And Bo was able to save her. He had to flick the switch of that expensive watch that he gave her, which has the Bear Protection Company behind it. So they were able to, before he passed out, he was able to flick the homing beacon. So they brought her and him to his hometown in Maine for recovery and whatnot. So, and of course, Blaine, being the crazy person that she is, who takes everything to the oomph power, he breaks his arm and she's like, I have ruined your hockey career. Your arm is broken and your leg broke. All these things is my fault. Da, 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 da. He's like, I'm I'm a shifter. Like, this will heal back like it never happened. Like, what, in 3 days? Like, what is going on here? So their little love story is hilarious. And of course, they figured out they both have love for weird 50s and 60s music that can't be found. And they're like dancing and having a good time. And he lets her spend like put everything in town on his name, on his account. People are like, whoa. Like, they never thought that. First of all, Bo ain't been home since he left. It's been like, what, 13 years or some kind of crazy number like that, where he hadn't been home, which means he hadn't seen her uncle. So, of course, she's like, how could you? How could you not come home and see your uncle? And woo, 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 he raised you, and you need to stay. You need to take a vacation. And then when she found out that Richard had lied to her and that they had tagged her like a dog, not Richard, but the person who he put to watch her, Deanne tagged her like a dog, put a microchip in her. And so she decided she wasn't going back, and they need to figure out who. And she was like, I need you to go and get my daddy to come and get me. And that's the only way I'm going home. So here comes Richard's uncle, who's the head of the group, going to her house, her father's house, and tell, we need you to come back to get your daughter because she's stuck in so-and-so territory. And he's like, oh, so she put y'all on me. Let me tell you a little something. This is what I used to do. I used to blow shit up. She was like, you need to find out who's after my daughter. And if you don't, you might as well say goodbye to your family, because I'm blowing up your whole territory. And I only need enough, C4. The amount of, I can blow up your entire world, the amount of C4 that couldn't blow up a squirrel.
It's all in the
level. His nephew, like, figure this shit out, because it's about to go down. My helpful daughter didn't help you guys out. What y'all do?
Be all over this.
All over this.
But, I'm realizing we did skip a little bit of the book because we forgot to mention. So as Lollipop mentioned earlier, Blaine is a Derby girl. Well, her Derby team is about to go to the championship, but her team, they think that she's too nice. Mm-hmm. She won't really get physical with the other team in order to get the goals met and done. So Bo is one of the rudest, most aggressive hockey players in the league. And so she goes and she yells at him like, it's all your fault that they expect me to be mean and this rude person. So she decides that he should be the one to train her to be the new improved rude Derby girl.
Because let's be real. Anybody that gets between Bo and his puck, because it's his puck, is going to get knocked out.
Right, it's going down.
It's about to go down. So anyway, there's a lot of other shenanigans. We could talk about this book for hours. We don't want to ruin everything. Obviously, if you have already read this book, feel free to hit in the comments what you like the best, what you wish was different. This particular book is like in the middle of a fairly long series. There's a few different arcs. This particular arc, as Kitty Boo mentioned before, was all around the dog fighting and, figuring out who was behind it and stopping it. There are other arcs that go over through different books. And the great thing is that Shelly Laurenston did with this one is she completed an entire arc through several books before starting another arc.
Right. And actually, if you read the next book in this series, you find out who was behind the dog fighting, the hybrid fighting.
Exactly. And then, then there's the other arc of capturing the person who was behind, some other things as well. Because the next arc in this fairly long series was people hunting. They were kidnapping and then hunting.
And stuffing them.
The shifters.
Yeah.
So, it went from kidnapping and using them for dog fights to another kidnapping and then using them for hunting. So it was actually really interesting, and all the books are enjoyable if you've read them all, But this is also, it's enough of a standalone that you feel comfortable and you understand what's going on, even if you hadn't read the previous book. I know some folks who've read it out of order. They've skipped a book here or there because maybe that particular couple wasn't interesting to them. But I would definitely recommend, it's even more enjoyable when you do read these books in order. So as we've mentioned before in our previous review, Shelly Laurenston is a hilarious writer. Like, she will have you laughing out loud to the book.
Yes.
And folks be like, are you crazy? Like, are you losing?
What are you laughing about? Yes, all the time.
Deep belly laughs, because you are just, it's just hilarious. And you know what? It's funny the second, third, fourth, and fifth time you read it too.
Yes. And if you read this book for the first time, after you read the scenes with Bobby in them, please comment below and let us know what you thought about it. Cousin Bobby. And that's all I'll say about that.
Oh my God, Cousin Bobby. Yes, yes. And then when Blaine shows off her skills, they were like, who is this person? It was like left and right of the same personality. So it's actually, you know what? I'm not even gonna lie. 5 out of 5. I love this book. I've read this book 11
5
times.
out of 5, most definitely for this.
I reread this book at least. This book is actually quite, oh my God, 5, 10, 8, 6, 7 years. It's been years since this book came out.
And I reread it at least twice a year.
100%. Because something pops up into my head and I think about Blaine and Bo, and I got to go back to it. It's the same thing with Charlie. I go back to Charlie all the time because something pops into my head and I'm like, I got to read Charlie's story again.
And the hilarious thing is, I was just telling Lollipop this, I've read this book more than 10 times, and rereading it this week for the recording, I discovered like I somehow never read the second half of the first chapter. And it was like brand new. And I was like, where did this come from?
And I laughed and laughed and laughed because I was like, what do you mean you've never read this before? We've had long discussions about this book several times. How did you not know?
Did you change it? Was there a book edition added to it? No.
You somehow jumped ahead.
I somehow jumped ahead.
And, you know, sometimes that happens when you're engrossed in a book. You might have something happen. You know, technology is also, you know what? I have no.
You doze off on your Kindle and the pages turned, and you didn't notice.
That actually could happen.
It does happen.
I know I read on my iPad, so with the Kindle app, so it's like, it's pain. But the great thing about this book is it's an older book, so it's available on all Kindle, Kobo, Barnes and Nobles, anywhere where you purchase books. And it's discounted now because of the age. So it's very affordable to jump into this series because the book, and they also go on sale regularly. The older novels in this series go on sale a lot. So you'll be able to catch them sometimes $1.99, $2.99, $3.99, $4.99. And quite frankly, these books are not short. Shelly Laurenston put her foot in it. These books are always 400 and something pages. So to get 400 and something pages of quality, laugh out loud, funny, great storytelling on special.
Every page. And I'm never like, okay, I'm ready for her to like be finished. You know, some authors, are really good, but they can go on and on, but not with her. Like, it's like the perfect amount of content.
Yes, her editing tight and right.
Like, she always leaves me feeling like, I got just enough. Like, I didn't need any more and I didn't need any less.
No, sometimes I want more. I didn't need more. I want more.
Well, since I always know, usually there's like another book where you'll get a glimpse of a couple, I'm usually satisfied.
Right. But honestly, I could take a book series off of Blaine and Bo's kids. Like, I'm here for it.
Yeah.
But also, I'm quite interested in Richard's uncle kids, at least the daughter. Because the daughter looked like not only is she brilliant, but she vicious. So I'd be interested I'm interested when she dives into the next generation. Because they all had kids Some of them got lots.
Oh, especially the wild dogs. Like I've been wanting their next generation for a while, like Johnny's story and Crispy.
I would, yes, I'm ready for the next generation for sure. Because now they're old enough. Like Johnny is in his 20s and stuff like that. So they're not little anymore.
And what's her name? Hannah, the hybrid that they found in this book. Like she should
Even
be
her
in
late
her
20s. Yeah, I'm ready for Hannah. Yeah, Hannah needs a story too, because I would really love to find out more about her background. Because she is a bear wolf hybrid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, and she was raised by humans. So she definitely has a more unique background. So I'm definitely ready to hear more about that. So Shelly Laurenston, if you hear this, please, 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 we are ready for the next generation.
Yes, I'm ready.
Comment below if you agree, disagree, whose story you want to see next, whose relationships you're ready to hear more about. And we will talk to you soon. Thanks.
See you later.